Most expensive movies ever made. Have you ever wondered how much it costs to make the movies you love? Over the years, big movies have gotten bigger and costlier. Take a look at Terminator 2: Judgment Day. It was the first movie to cost more than $100 million to make. Well, between the actors' multi-million-dollar salaries and the salaries of thousands of crew members, post-production, and marketing, the budgets for some movies make you realize how small you and I are compared to the giants of the film industry. It's easy to guess which franchises and movies will be on a list of the most expensive movies ever made. But the exact numbers will still make you blink twice. So which movies are we talking about? How much was used? Without further ado, here are the most expensive movies ever made. Pirates of the Caribbean: On Stranger Tides. The fourth installment of the well-known Pirates of the Caribbean film series centers on Captain Jack Sparrow, who embarks on a voyage in search of the fabled Fountain of Youth. While on this assignment, he runs into a stunning and enigmatic pirate from his past named Angelica. She persuades him to accompany her on a trip to the famed Blackbeard ship, the Queen Anne's Revenge. As they set off on their trip, they must overcome several challenges, including Jack's adversary Barbossa, who is also looking for the Fountain of Youth. The American fantasy swashbuckler movie is one of the most expensive films ever produced. The price includes post-production, high-end 3D cameras and other equipment, actors' fees, filming on 4 locations, and other expenses. For instance, Johnny Depp was earning a sum of $55 million from that movie. Moreover, it was more expensive to produce the movie because of the logistical challenges of filming it with the water as a background. Interestingly, this movie was the 3rd highest grossing film of 2011. Avengers Endgame. In this epic 2019 Marvel movie, Tony Stark gets stuck in space without food or water. He calls Pepper Potts to get help when his oxygen starts to run out. Meanwhile, the rest of the Avengers, including Thor, Black Widow, Captain America, and Bruce Banner, with the help of allies they've already beaten, plan to bring down Thanos, the evil god who destroyed the entire universe. The movie is still one of Marvel Studios' most expensive investments at a stunning $356 million to produce. This movie, however, paid off with over $4.8 billion made at the box office. No wonder it's on the top 5 for making the most money worldwide. Interestingly, the likes of Downey Jr. made about $75 million from it. It was the highest-grossing movie ever made until a re-release of James Cameron's Avatar took the top spot in 2021. Justice League. In the 5th movie in the DC Extended Universe, Bruce Wayne needs the help of Wonder Woman, his new friend, to fight some enemies they both have. Inspired by Superman's act of selflessness, the two find a group of metahumans to fight the threats and save the world before it's too late. Batman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Cyborg, and The Flash join forces with other heroes to stop a disaster that could destroy the world. Even though it had a huge budget, the 2017 Justice League got bad reviews and did not do well at the box office. It all started when in 2017, Zack Snyder left Justice League in the middle of post-production for personal reasons, and Joss Whedon took over. This caused a lot of reshoots and a lot of extra costs, which pushed up the budget of an already expensive movie. Then, fans pushed Snyder to return to the series and put out the original parts that Whedon cut from the 2017 movie. Warner Brothers finally listened to what fans wanted and released Zack Snyder's version in 2021 on HBO Max. The next year, it was the 4th most streamed movie with an estimated budget of $300 million. And guess what? The superhero movie made around $658 million. Avatar, 2009. Avatar is not a period piece like Titanic, which came out in 1997. Instead, it is a sci-fi epic about how humans and aliens interact on a planet called Pandora. Cameron, the director, first thought of the idea for the movie in 1996, but he didn't start making it until special effects had improved enough to let him make the movie he had in mind. So, it shouldn't be a surprise that most of the movie's budget went to special effects, especially since a new camera system and method were made just for the project. As with Titanic, the big budget paid off. The movie made a record-breaking $2 billion at the box office and was nominated for 9 Academy Awards. And now, in 2022, Disney gave the go-ahead for 4 Avatar sequels with a total budget of $1 billion, about $250 million per movie. Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. With an estimated budget of $263.7 million, Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince is one of the most expensive films in the series by a long shot. It is the 6th film in the Boy Wizard series. The tone of this movie is darker than any of its prequels. It's all about Harry, Ron, and Hermione getting ready to fight Lord Voldemort. However, they find out that evil may be closer than they thought. If you look into it, you'll find that there is probably more than one reason this project's budget was so high. Many main actors' contracts were up for renegotiation right before filming started. And not only that, but the movie needed a lot of computer-generated imagery. John Carter. You're not alone if you've never heard of John Carter. Even though Disney spent over $250 million, it's widely considered one of the biggest box office flops in Hollywood history. The movie was based on a 1912 book called Princess of Mars. It's about a Civil War veteran who mysteriously ends up on Mars, also known as Barsoom. There, he gets caught up in the political struggles of the planet. Ultimately, he is the only one who can save the planet, which is in trouble. Since the studio didn't make their numbers and production costs public, it's not clear why the movie cost so much to make. It might have had to do with how many times the script had to be rewritten, or how many big set pieces were made, but not all of them were used. Blame the visual effects that were added after filming, or that it was Andrew Stanton's first live-action movie, and he didn't have enough experience to get it done quickly and cheaply. Whatever the reason, Disney gave up on making a second and third movie in the series when they realized it would be like setting money on fire to make them. Spider-Man 3. In Spider-Man 3, the last movie in Sam Raimi's Spider-Man trilogy, America's favorite web-slinging superhero fights the darkest parts of himself and Sandman and Venom, 2 of Marvel's most powerful supervillains. Stars like Tobey Maguire, Kirsten Dunst, James Franco, Topher Grace, Bryce Dallas Howard, and J.K. Simmons are among the big names in the blockbuster's cast. Even though the studio has never said how the film's $258 million budget was spent, it has been thought for a long time that the actors' 7- and 8-figure paychecks took up a big chunk of it. Special effects were probably the other thing that took up a big chunk of the budget. One group of 270 people said that they finished more than 950 shots for the movie and weren't the only ones who had to do the work. Titanic. Titanic is one of the most significant movies ever made, but it is way too long at 3 hours and 14 minutes. It's also known for its cheesy romantic drama and attention to detail. Who doesn't love a doomed love story of a young couple on the RMS Titanic? The original budget for the movie was $100 million, but it went up to $200 million. This is because the director James Cameron tried hard to make every shot look real. Everything quickly added up, from the 1,000 sticks of dynamite needed to the materials and people needed to build a life-size replica of the ship. During the 150-day shoot, the relationship between Cameron and the studios that paid for the movie got so tense that by the end, several heads, including Cameron's, were on the block because the executives were worried that the movie wouldn't do well at the box office. The movie was an instant hit, making $1.84 billion at the box office and getting 14 Oscar nominations. Well, let's be honest. Some of them really are worth that kind of investment. Take a look at the Titanic. It absolutely looked and felt real. Anyway, which movie blew your mind the most, and why? Tell us in the comments below. Also, remember to like, share, and subscribe.